मैं कर दूंगा सब। So yes, very good evening, Vivek, Divya, Anil Gautam, and Afreen. Very good evening. So I think yesterday class is very much I think good, but someone just texted to me and messaged me, sir, yesterday class was the level is very high. I just replied, level is not very high. You are very in comfort zone because UPSC is just like is not just like a SSC exam or ND exam. The label is very high, not is very high. It's a very conceptual. Okay, it's a very conceptual. The lady here just irritating to me. Afrin Simran Dhapa. Dhapa. Dhapa ya Dhapa. Good evening. Okay, fine. So yesterday we have already been discussed about the Article 13. Okay, Article 13 and 14. But 14 I have not completed. Uh, yes, but in this season I will just dealing with the Article 14 completely and Article 15. Okay. So yes, this article I will be dealing in a very comprehensive manner because in the prelims when I just taught in the 90 days crash course, yes, we have a limited time, 90 days, and between the 19 days, we have to just we had to just completed the whole polity. So yes, but in this time we have not any foundation, we have not any time limitation. So we have a very enough or abundant amount of time. Okay, so Gitanjali, very good evening. Now, just a second. Yes. So fundamental rights. Fundamental rights. Okay, fundamental rights. And I think this is part four. Part four of fundamental rights. And up till now, we have just completed the with till the article 14. 14. So 4 hours class, and we have completed only article 12, 13, and not completely 14 article. So yes, this is the, I think, if you just study or just want to learn in a very broad way, I think uh, in very deep, not very deep, but yes, at least you need to know about, because if you just study in comprehensive, study in the uh, pre sub means, then you can just have an idea about this uh, these portions. Okay, so fundamental rights. Yesterday, I think we have been discussed about the Article 14, Article 14, Article 13. So Article 14, we have already been discussed about the rule of law, the equal protection of laws, equality for laws, rule of law, we decides propounded. So yes, we have already been discussed. But right now, we have been we have to discuss about the exception of Article 14. Yes, apart this portions UPSC obviously asked in the prelims examination exceptions about the exception. So what are the exceptions of the Article 14? Because Article 14 yesterday we have already dealt very comprehensively. So Article 14, Article 14, Clause 1, Clause 2. Article 14, Clause 1, Clause 2. Okay, we have already dealt. But right now we have a what are the cases? What are these case studies which is study cases which is basically related to this topic? So yes, we have been Article 14 and what are the exceptions? So we have an exception. Exception. If you are just making a note, then please go through it because it will definitely help for your mains and pre-examination. And in the one book, for example, Lakshmikant or another book, you cannot find uh, these data or this content in single book. In single book, yes, you can find, but in the single book you cannot find these types of case studies, this type of exceptions. Some, for example, in Lakshmikant, you can find the exceptions, but you cannot find uh, the Article 14 about the intelligible differentia, okay, reasonable nexus, that is, and the case studies, cases which is associated with this particular thing. Soumya Sekhar, Noora Khan, Loni, Suhana Sheikh, very good evening. Okay, so yes, what are the exceptions? First thing, you need to know about the uh, one thing, the Article 361. Article 361 basically just provide the immunity to president and the governor. Yes, these are not comes under the equality of the fundamental right, with, or we can say Article 14, which basically covers the equality before law and equal protection of laws. So president or and governor, according to Article 361, they have immunity with respect to the Article 14. Yes, but uh, is this is enough? No, we have another point. This is one point. Okay, this is one point. Now, the if you're just talking about the president or governor, when there is a criminal cases or when there is a criminal proceedings, when there is a criminal proceedings, and when the president is in the service, okay, when the president is in the service or the governor is in the service, in that time, what happens? Simran Dhappa, Dhappa. No, I think you all are favorite students. Okay, your title is very good, Dhappa. Okay, so yes, so no criminal proceedings are there. No criminal, no criminal proceedings will be there during the term of president or the governor. I'm just talking about during the term. During the term, okay. During the term, okay. And I'm just writing here criminal proceedings, not civil proceedings. Criminal proceedings should not be there, okay. But what about the civil proceedings? What about the civil proceeding? Yes, civil proceedings again also will not be proceeding during the term, but there are some exceptions. In civil proceeding, there are some exceptions. Listen carefully. What happens 2 months before, when suppose uh, the president, the time period is the right now, suppose let's take in the month of October, okay. So before 2 months and after 2 months, before 2 months and after 2 months, the president or the governor, the president and the governor could not be, could not be, we can say, uh, we can say the proceedings cannot be happen in during the term of the president or the governor. Okay, so 2 months is the 2 months is the 2 months is the a zone, a barrier, a time, a month, which is basically decide. Yes, this time is the zone, this time is the border, and before the 2 month and after the 2 month, we cannot proceeding to the court. Okay, so 2 month is the barrier, and before 2 month and after 2 month, we cannot proceed the civil proceeding. Okay, I am just talking about the civil proceeding. So civil proceedings are there. Criminal proceedings, which you cannot proceed to the court during the term. Yes, after the term you cannot proceed, but when the president or the governor is in their post or either is in their duty in that time, before 2 months, suppose the court want to just proceeding some cases, then the court must have to give notice before 2 months, before 2 months. Okay, and after 2 months, after that court will have a right to proceed. Okay, so this is the very basic difference. Are you getting my point or not? Or are you just thinking, sir, I'm not getting your point? Just repeat, repeat, and repeat. Okay. So yes. Now the next point is the Article 361A. Article 361A. What is Article 361A? Yes, this is a very, very important article. 361A. In the prelims 90 days course, I think we have not been dealt this section or this point. I think Vivek is there. So yes, second point, repeat. Second point, second point. I think this one, or second point. Yes, no criminal proceedings. If there is charge in the president, suppose charge is the murder charge. Okay, the murder charge is there. Uh, who is the president right now? Who is the female president out there? So suppose murder charge are there, but the president time period is suppose this time the new president was elected. So the new president time period is 2022 to 2027. Okay, 5 years. So in the 5 year, court cannot proceed the criminal charges or criminal proceedings during the criminal proceeding in this term. But in the civil proceeding, suppose uh, the president just abused to Soumi Sekar, or just abused to uh, Simran Thapa. Okay, that is civil proceeding. That is civil cases. Okay, okay. But this is the third point. This is the third point. Okay. So in the third point, civil proceedings, if suppose president just abused to Soumi Sekar. Okay, let's say it's just an example. Don't get it seriously. So and you just want justice in that time, you go to the Supreme Court or High Court that yes, Mr. President just abused to me, and please do some action with respect to president. What will happen? The civil proceedings, in the civil proceedings, during the civil proceeding, yes, can do crime. Yes, it's a sound little bit very different, but yes, president or governor. But if you just analyze the responsibility and the duty of the president and the governor, yes, we can just think, yeah, those are reputed person, or those persons which is in the top in the position in the nation cannot do crime, cannot do something wrong with the country, with the public. But yes, one different aspect is, yes, they can do crime, but after 5 years. But when his or her terms completed after 5 years, or what the remaining time, after that criminal proceedings can be conducted. Okay, so yes, this is also true. So in the civil proceedings, suppose some charges are there in the president and governor. before 2 months, after 2 months, suppose the Supreme Court want to just proceeding some charges, okay, but the court have to notice, before 2 months. Suppose today the date, Supreme Court just wanted to take some action before 2 months. First of all, the court will give to the notice, and after the 2 months, after 2 months, the after 2 months, the court will proceeding the charges. So 2 months is the you can say the zone or the time period of when the notice or the charges or the proceeding time period, when the notice will giving in that particular date. After that, the charge will be proceeding. Okay. Somsekhar, are you getting my point? Okay. So Article 361. What about the Article 361? So Article 361 basically talks about the no person can. There are some exceptions are again there. If the parliament proceedings or the state assembly proceedings, suppose a person, uh, yes, okay. Suppose a person just publish a news with respect to the parliament or with respect to the state assembly. What are the parliament proceedings are there? Suppose they are question are there are start questions. Okay, there are some start questions. There are some proceedings with respect to the pass of the bill. Those proceedings, suppose a person whose name is Mukesh. Okay, Mukesh just recorded those parliament sessions and just published or not record, just write in the newspaper, the art through the article. Yes, the newspaper, the parliament proceeding is not good. Parliament proceeding is very impartial. Parliament proceeding is not very democratic, just like this. And he published the something in article in the newspaper. Okay. Again, the Mukesh have immunity to with respect to the equality. Yes. So with respect to the publication of any news with respect to the parliament or the state assembly, those persons will have a immunity with respect to the Article 14. So Article 361 basically talks A. 361A talks about the persons have a immunity with respect to the civil and criminal, with respect to civil and criminal proceedings when he published or when he or she published the when he published in the newspaper, in the in newspaper with respect to the parliament and state assembly, state assembly. Okay. So but again, one thing, you cannot publish the false news, you cannot publish the false proceedings. Okay. Yes, if the parliament really have some lacunas or some loopholes, you can just publish in the newspaper. But there is not so many issues with respect to this. You cannot publish such kind of fake information in the newspaper. Okay. So that is all about. So Article 361 basically provides the immunity every person. Okay. So this is all about the news. Okay. Now come to the next, that is the article. No, first of all, I will be dealing with the Article 105 and 194. So Article 105 and 194 basically provides immunity for MPs, member parliament, and MLAs, member of legislative assembly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, why these points are important or not? Yes, these points are important for a film's perspective. And these all points, listen carefully, these all points are written in your Lakshmikant book. But what about the Article 14 with respect to the intelligible differentia, reasonable nexus, and what about the cases which is not? Have just studied to you in yesterday. Those parts which is not mentioned in your Lakshmikant book. So I'm just combining 2, 3, 4 sources. Okay. Next point. According to Article 105 and according to Article 194. Okay. So one basically gives immunity to MPs, and one basically gives immunity to MLAs. Yes, they have immunities, they have privileges. Okay. So yes, they have privileges, but in this session I'm not want to discuss about the privileges, because privileges I will be talking about these privileges uh, in the center, I think, parliament topic. I think uh, if you just study parliament topic, I think this topic will take time, prox 20 lecture. 20 lecture, yes, 20 lecture. If you just complete in holistic in manner, then okay. So MPs, MLA, they have a immunity, okay, and same immunity. Suppose the suppose that uh, any proceedings, any criminal or any civil proceedings. I'm just writing here civil proceedings and criminal proceedings. Criminal criminal proceedings. So both these proceedings cannot be proceed in between their terms. So yes, again, criminal proceedings, civil proceedings, they have immunity with respect to Article 105 and 194. But if any criteria with respect to civil proceedings, yes. For civil proceedings, same thing, but there are some less number of days. That is the 40 days. Okay, the 40 days. But what about the president? What about the president? The president have a 2 month. That means 60 days. 60 days for the president and governor. And for MPs and MLAs, both MPs and MLAs, we have a 40 days only. Is it clear to all? Yes. So 40 days, here is only civil, not criminal. Okay. So this is all about. Now move to the next exception. These are all about the exception. Okay. These are all about the exception. Next exception is Article 31C. Article 31C. Article 31C. Basically, many of these parents, many of the students could not understand or could not, I think they do not have idea about the Article 31C, what Article 31C basically talks about. But yes, there are some students, there are some aspirant which basically know about Article 31C. It basically talks about the Article 39B and C. Okay. So Article 31C, one very good statement or quotes which basically the Supreme Court held that when Article 31C comes in, okay, when Article 31C comes, sorry, when Article 39, 39B and 39C comes in, Article 14 and Article 19 goes out. I think we should write here. So here uh, Article 39B and Article 39C. What is 39B and C? I'm just telling you. But when Article 31B and C comes in, then Article 14 means right to equality, and Article 19 means right to freedom of speech, expression, assemble and movement, residence, associations, that is goes out. Goes out. What does it means? It means that if the government or the state implement the Article 39B and C, in that time Article 14, that means right to equality, it will, in that time it will become, we can say, uh, inconsistent. It will become inconsistent of Article 14 and 19. Means here the fundamental rights or the DPSP. That is the DPSP. So here DPSP is more superior than the fundamental rights. What is the examples? Example is this one, or this one basically talks, and this thing which is basically discussed in Article 31C. This thing basically discussed in Article 31C. And Article 31C is in the fundamental rights, and fundamental rights and talks about that 39B and 39C, when the state formulated laws with respect to Article 39B and C, then 39, Article 14 and 19 uh, keep silent when these two articles then when we use. Okay, so Article 31 basically talks about this one. Okay, now what is Article 39B and 39C? So Article 39B basically talks about the state policies, which basically talks about the ownership and control, which basically talks about the ownership and the control of the resources. Okay, suppose there are some resources and one person's have ownership and control. State state can take action with respect to the ownership, because one person cannot have suppose there are lots of land, lots of something resources are there. Okay, so state can in that time can take actions, and the ownership can dilute from those we can say the ownership and the control, and the total control which can also dilute from the government side. So yes, the ownership and the control can be diluted with respect to the resources, with respect to management or distribution of the resources. So Article 39B basically talks about the into actually I'm dealing with this Article 39B and C in DPSP, but in this time I just telling you in briefly. 39C, prevent centralization of wealth. That is a 39C, Swami Shikhar. 39C basically talks about the centralization of wealth. But what about the resources, ownership, control, which basically talks about the Article 39B. Okay, 39B. So 39B basically talks about the ownership and control of the resources, and 39C basically talks about the concentration of wealth. Concentration of wealth. The government or state try to deviate the or try to prohibit, not prohibit, reduce. We cannot use prohibit. Reduce the concentration of power. But you know that what are the conditions? Rich persons, the minimum or the minimalist number of persons which basically hold the large number of the wealth. Okay, so this is all about Article 31B and C, and this Article 31C basically came in the 25th CAA, means Constitutional Amendment Act 1971. Okay, and Article 31C in single word you can write the socialistic directive principles. This 31C basically in 3 words you can just write this is a socialistic directive principle. Okay, this is a socialistic directive principle. Okay, fine. So this is the Article 31C. Again, this Article 31C is the exception of Article 14. Okay, 14 as well as 19. 14, 19. Okay. Now, one thing I just want to make clear. Article when this thing comes in Article 31C in the 25 CAA, in that time the government decided that there is no any judicial review. Okay, there is no any judicial review. So yes, but in that time, means till 1971 to 1973, till the Kesavananda Bharati case. So when the Kesavananda Bharati case came in 1973, Supreme Court strongly uh, told that yes, judicial review is the basic structure of doctrine. So judicial review is, if the judicial review is the BSD, basic structure of doctrine, then yes, this is uh we have a right. We have a right, means court judiciary have right to, for the judicial, for the judicial review. Okay, means the government or the judiciary just try to check if there is any arbitrariness, if there is any randomness, if there is something, if some suppose let's say everything is good, everything is fine, then nothing is problem. But what happens when you know that there is some issues with respect to, arbitrariness, then that time judiciary just we can say inform to you there is a provision regarding the judicial review, and which comes under the basic structure of doctrine. In that time we have judicial review. In that time Supreme Court can use judicial review. Means if article 31c, this means article 31c, again this is the part of the judicial review, and judicial review is the basic structure doctrine. So basic structure doctrine, we can say 31c is the part of the basic structure doctrine. Yes, we can say this is the part of the basic structure of doctrine. Okay, fine. आ रहा है समझ में, दिमाग से उड़ जा रहा है, बोल देना. Okay, so this is all about the exception. I think everything is clear to all. Now move on the next, that is the Article 15 and Article 16. So Article 15, which is basically not a very big deal, but yes, this is very important for your prelims perspective. So next is the Article 15. Okay, next is Article 15. Okay, yes. Next is Article 15. What is Article 15? Article 15 is basically talks about the discrimination. सही है, सिमरन धब्बा धप्पा सही है. First of all, Article 15 basically in one keyword, in one word, I just write here the discrimination. Article 15 basically talks about there are some clauses are there. There are some clauses with respect to the clause 1, 2, 3, and 4. 15 clause 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So 15 clause 1, 2, 3, and 4, and again 5. So I think please do let me know whoever have uh, heard about the Article 15 clause 1 to 5, who have any idea regarding, any idea or not any idea, who have heard about, only heard. Yes, I have heard about there are some clause of Article 15 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. But what are the provisions? I'm not just asking to you. I'm just asking you have heard about there are some 5 clause of 15 article. If yes, then please tell me yes. Okay. So Article 51 basically talks about the discrimination. 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 Okay. Discrimination. So Article 13, no. Okay, no problem. But now Anil, Simran, Vivek, Divya, anyone? Uh, Article 51, 2, 3, and 4. You will get the idea about the clause 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 in very deep. Okay. Vivek, yes. But I think you have not any idea about what are the provisions, what are the articles basically talking about. I think, I think you have idea about Article 15, but you have not idea about what about the Article 15 clause 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. I think so, because if you study it in self, it is fine. But I think in Lakshmikant, basically not clearly defined or not clearly given or not clearly explained these portions. Not clearly, but yes, there are some provisions. So basically, in one word, if Article 15, if we're talking about Article 15, in one word we can say this is discrimination on the ground of religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth. So there are 5 ground. You cannot discriminate. You cannot discriminate on the 5 ground: religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth. Okay, these 5 grounds which you cannot discriminate, means you cannot discriminate or state cannot discriminate. Again the question arises, the state cannot discriminate. Okay, but one thing, if we just talk about the Article 15 clause 1, suppose Article 15 clause 1, this Article 15 clause 1 basically talks about state. State means the government. State means the parliament, the state legislative, the local authorities, p panchayati raj institutions, municipalities. Okay, these institutions cannot discriminate to you. Okay, so Article 15.1, Article 15.1 basically talks about the state. Listen carefully. State. I'm only here writing state cannot discriminate. Not any citizen, not any other party, or not any group, not any uh, the mohalla gunda. Okay, so state cannot discriminate. Okay, state. I just write here state. Okay, state cannot. Just write state cannot. Can't. Okay, fine. So state cannot discriminate. Article 15 have 5 ground. Yes, 5 ground. But what about the Article 15 clause 2? The 15 clause 2 basically talks about the state uh, plus citizen. State plus citizen. Here I am just telling you, here this citizen, no citizen. Okay, just here right here. No citizen. No citizen. No citizen can discriminate to you. Suppose Anil Gautam are there, okay, and I am there, okay. So I cannot discriminate with Anil Gautam. Means no citizen can discriminate to you. Okay, that is the Article 15 clause 2. So in the article, in overall Article 15, we can say yes, state plus citizen cannot discriminate. Yes. So here you can just write state plus citizen. But I'm just only I'm focusing on mainly on the citizen part. No citizen. Okay. No citizen. 15.1 state, 15.2 no citizen. Okay, fine. Next is the Article 15 clause 3. Basically here is the uh, some positive discriminations. Positive, yes. This is all about the negative discriminations, but I'm just talking about the positive discrimination. What is positive discrimination? Discrimination basically is a negative word, but if you use the term negative, or if you use the positive, that means a advancement of the people. What about the advancement of the people? Means you just provide the welfare. You just provide the welfare. You just provide the immunity, not immunity. You just provide the uh, uh, privileges, facilities to the publics. So here we can say the positive discriminations for Article 15 basically talks about the one thing, just uh, we can write the women plus children, and I am just writing a children, then you must consider children means under 14, under 14. Okay, so women plus children, they have immunities, they have a privileges, and again we can say they have a favorable distinctions, they have a favorable distinction, favorable 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 distinction, distinction, or simply we can say there are some privileges, there are some advantages, or we can say the positive discriminations, positive discrimination, discrimination. Okay, positive discriminations. Okay, means in 15 clause 3 there are some discrimination, but they are positively, they are positive. Women plus children, women plus children, the state can discriminate positively, state can favor women and children positively, state can make some rule and policy with respect to women and children that will not be considered under the discrimination under the article 15, only 15. Okay, basically 15 clause 3 provides the positive discrimination. Okay, so this is the positive discrimination. Now one is very big, very not big, a very good example, that is the Child Labor and Prohibition and Regulation Act of 1986. What is example of child labor, child labor prohibition and regulation act of 1986? Why this act we are just discussing? Because in this act we state provides uh, uh, states just stepped out the positive discriminations with respect to this act. Through this act, state just providing a positive discrimination to women and children. So every act, every act, suppose every act which is basically discriminate or which basically against the fundamental rights of any article. This article basically discriminate because there are some religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth. So there is a child, there is a woman. Okay, so there are some discriminations are there. No problem. So we have some article, because article 15 clause 3 basically talks about the there may be some positive discriminations with respect to women and children, not child. So the state come forward and just brings to you a very good act, that is a CLPR. Okay, Child Labor and Prohibition and Regulation Act. Okay, so this is all about. But what about the any cases? Any cases? Yes, we have any cases. So one case is very important. Yusuf versus State of Bombay case. Yusuf versus, I think this thing can is not mentioned in your Lakshmikant book. So please write this case. And this case you can use in your mains examination. Yusuf Yusuf versus State of Bombay. State of Bombay. What about this case? Basically, what happens in this case? The section 497 of IPC, section 497 of IPC, Indian Penal Code, was challenged. What about the 497 section of IPC? Basically, it basically talks about the women adultery is not punishable. Section 497 basically talks about the women adultery is not punishable. Again, this is the discriminations. Okay, so we have again we can say we have a very good example of section 497. Basically talks about it. Women adultery is not punishable. You can just write in your notebook. So this section 497 was challenged in this time, and Yusuf versus State of Bombay judgment come into the being. So in this judgment, the uh, court or the judiciary upheld the status of women, and Supreme Court told that yes, because the society which is not very favor in the towards the women and the children. So yes, this section 497 is very much permissible, very much acceptable, because this section yes, basically provides the positive discriminations. Okay, so yes. So here the Supreme Court upheld upheld section 497, section 497, and told that yes, this provides immunity. Section 497 provides immunity to the women, immunity to the women, immunity immunity to women. So that's why this section 497 cannot struck down of IPC. Okay, fine. So Article 15.3 is not we can say this is positive discrimination against the Article 14, and we have a provisions with respect to this. Okay, now come to the Article 15 clause 4. 15 clause 4 is not a very short. Yes, 15 clause 4 is very big, because 15 clause 4 basically we have a advancement of backward classes, and advancement of backward class, that means OBC, and advancement of OBC classes, or simple we can say agar simple socially educational backward classes, and is in SABC there is inclusion of SC and ST. And you have already heard about the Mandal Commission, Indra Sani judgment are there. So Article 15 clause 4 is not short. Maybe if there is a short of time, uh, if suppose let's say if this 15 clause 4 somehow is not completed, then next classes means tomorrow I will be definitely deal with this. Okay. So Article 15 clause 4. Article 15 clause 4. Clause 4. This article basically talks about the advancement of backward classes. Advancement of backward classes. Okay, advancement of backward classes. Okay, but one thing I just want to tell you. The 15 plus 3 and 4 act as foundation of reservation. Yes, yes, 15 clause 3, 4 and 5. 5 also. Okay, 5 also. Actually, this is the conclusion point, and this line I will be dealing in the last of when I just finish the article 15. When then I just yes, I will be dealing with this Mandal Commission. Okay, Mandal commissions are there, and there are some cases regarding the M.R. Balaji versus Mysore cases, and there are some other cases like Indra Sani cases. Okay, so Article 15, Clause 3, 4, and 5. Trio. 3 articles, 3 subclause articles, which is basically the foundation of the reservation. 3 articles. Okay. Advancement of backward classes. What about the advanced backward classes? This basically Article 15, 4 and 4 included in our constitutions in the first CAA 1951. First CAA means first Constitutional Amendment Act 1951. Okay. After the Champakam Durai Rajan case, Madras versus State of Madras versus Champakam Durai Rajan case of 1951. After this case, this first CAA came into the being. Okay. So why this case was very important? Because Champakam Durai Rajan case basically there are so many we can say points are there, but in this article 15 clause 4 I will be dealing with this specific point which is basically associated with this article. Okay, so article 15 clause 4, if we just talk about the cases of the Madras versus, just suppose we have a case of the Madras, state of Madras versus Champakam, Champakam Durai Durai Rajan case of 1951. Why this case is came into being? Because when Madras government issued the notification, issued the order that yes, every community, I am just using the word every community got reservation in the Madras. Okay, every community, because 1951 I'm just talking about 1951, 51. So that's why I'm using Madras. So Madras government just announced that yes, every community got the reservation. When this order is issued by the Madras government, one person, that person, okay, that great person, so filled the petition and against the this order. And when this when the when the petition is filled, in that time, in that case, basically the basically the things is about the medical reservation, medical medical reservation, okay, medical reservation for every community. Then what happens that by the judgment of the Champaka Barajan case, there are some special provision. Okay, the judgment came out, and there are some special provision for SEBC. The judgment basically talks about the special provision and the order which is given by the Madras government, which is strike down. Yes, this is not possible. If you just want to provide reservation, then you have a must have a basic criteria in which terms you just give their reservation. So special provisions, there are some special provisions with respect to the SEBC, socially economically backward classes. If the Madras government just want to give reservation, this is base for the SEBC, not for the every community. Okay, so here in 1951, in this case, Supreme Court just explained or described in STBC, there is inclusion of SC and ST. In SCBC, there is already inclusion of SC and ST. Okay, so this is all about. Now you can SC, that means Article 341, that is 342. So this is the special provision which is given by the Champakam Dwarajan case of 1951. Okay, I think time is very left. Okay, no problem. Again, what happens after some time in 1963? Again, the Mysore government again provides the reservation for the different sections like OBC, like backward classes, like most backward classes like SC and ST, and they provide 68% reservation to the different communities. Okay, 68%. Again, Supreme Court just uh, we can say they interfered and said that yes, this is not fair because 68% reservation is not good. So in this time, uh, only 32% reservations are left. So we can say that yes, we if you just provide the liberal reservations, liberal liberal reservation, you must have to consider the other sections. Okay, so this is the part, but I think I'm short of time. So yesterday I will be dealing with this topic. So because faculties are waiting outside, so I think uh, tomorrow I will be meet again. So thank you so much to all of you. Thank you so much.